So you've been thinking of going to uni, but you don't think you're smart enough. Hi, I'm Jane Green. This is for you. Do you know what changed my life? I come from a very long line of academics. And I'm talking academics, you know, grandfathers, uncles, brothers, sisters, etc. But I dropped out after grade 10. I got into the bank after national exam into CSB in Melbourne. I worked in one of the biggest branches in Australia. But when I went to boarding school, my parents had to send me because I was living in Papua New Guinea where my father was working. I wanted to be a teacher, and I'd always wanted to be a teacher. But when I got there, I got to the private boarding school and I was mercilessly bullied. And I mean, the bullying was really merciless. And so I decided to chuck in my education after I finished year 10. And, you know, I never thought I was smart enough to go to uni after that because I judged myself completely on my maths marks. Now, I did actually get a credit in grade 10 when my parents said to me, yeah, well, you're not leaving school unless you get decent marks, and, you know, you're not leaving school without a job. Good, thank you, Mum and Dad. That was a good thing to do. So that's when I sat for the national exam and I got into the Commonwealth Bank, the largest branch in Elizabeth Street, actually, in Melbourne, Victoria. However, if I hadn't been bullied, I would have kept on going and I would have got my education and I would have ended up becoming a teacher. Instead, I did it many years ago. I was 30 when I finished my first degree, and now I've got 2 degrees, master's degree in 2013 as a counsellor. However, what I want to say to you is that if it hadn't been for lovely Kevin Wong, a teacher, friend of mum, who was half Malaysian, half Australian, sitting in that lounge room that day, and he said to me, what do you want to do? And there, my little baby, I was 20-something, 21. I said, I want to be a teacher. And he said, well, why don't you do that? Go to uni. And I said, I don't know if I'm smart enough. And he said, look, Jane, can you read and write really well? And I said, oh yeah, I'm brilliant at reading and writing. And he said, well, that's all you need. You don't have to rely on everything you knew at school. It's all new. They teach you from scratch. Oh, so he said, you read all the material, you go to the lectures and you do the assignments, you write the assignments. Oh, and so this was the first time someone actually told me, yeah, I'm definitely can cope with a university degree. And so from there, my life changed completely. And I ended up getting my first degree at age 30. I did my 11 and 12, just did a few subjects to show that I could get really high marks, and off I went. So what I want to say to you, and the reason I'm having this conversation, because I have this conversation quite often with people who mention that, yeah, they're thinking going to uni, but they don't think they're smart enough. And what I want to say to you is, do not judge your total capacity in education from your school marks. Okay, because often as children we've got problems maybe at home, we're not focusing, or it's dead boring and we're not focusing, we're kids, we can't see the value of our education, so we're really not taking much notice of it. So really, you know, it's very, very important that you understand that you are not maths. That does not define who you are. So if you can read and write reasonably well, and it's got to be reasonably well, you can definitely do a university course as long as you're prepared to put the hard yards into study, because it's long hours studying, but you know, you can do it. I did it with 2 kids. I did have a very supportive partner. Don't let that thing in your head stop you because you think, oh, but I didn't do real well at school. Because as an adult, you will do very differently. I've got to tell you a little funny story. When I spent 17 years teaching adults after getting my degree, instead of going to state schools, I was in front of 24 adults, my very first class at TAFE, Associate Diploma of Business students. So I had to teach vocational education and maths while I was in the adult education industry for 15 or 16 or 17 years. I sometimes forget, getting too old. And basically, I'd have to take a maths test to see where they are so that I could actually find which part of the book they're going to all start, you know, certain people. So the differentiation, trying to make sure it was at different people's levels. And most of them didn't even get 3 out of the 25 questions right. And they were basic vocational maths, you know, division, some of the hard division, or fractions and things like that. So, when I went into the classroom, there was some very low heads hanging like this, looking at me, probably thinking, oh, she must think we're really stupid. And I came in and I just went, look, I want you all to throw the maths test into the bin. And they all looked at me and they went, what? I said, throw the maths test into the bin. They said, is she serious? I said, yep, go. They all take the maths test. I said, I had a copy of it. I said, that's what I think of your maths test. Okay? What you did at school doesn't matter, because in this class, you're going to all get over 85% for maths, because I'm going to teach you like I teach primary kids, but I won't treat you like a primary kid. And do you know what? Every single one of my students got over 85. Most of them got over 95% in that whole career that I had. Every time I taught maths, I taught simply. And I have letters, from people who say, oh, we didn't ever think we could do maths, and like you made it look so easy, etc., etc. So part of it is, of course, because as a kid, you're either not focusing, you're not listening, maybe the teacher's not teaching it real well, or you've got so many problems that you're just thinking about your problems. So and I say this to kids all the time, don't define yourself by your maths marks. And this is for teenagers as well. Do not define yourself by your maths marks. It's not who you are. You might be brilliant at something else. You might be brilliant at doing something totally like writing a book, or you might be great at reading and writing. Look, and I say to a lot of kids, you may not be great at reading and writing, okay? You might not be that great at reading and writing. But a lot of kids aren't, and that's because of technology and texting and not putting punctuation, and we're not reading books like we used to before we had laptops and computers and TV and technology. So that's why you're not really great at reading and writing. It doesn't mean that you're not smart up here. It does not mean that you're not capable. And I say this to the kids all the time in the classroom. You need to understand that maths and English does not define you, because a lot of them think that they're stupid. They say, oh, but miss, I'm stupid. Well, okay, if you think you're stupid, well, here's what I want to do. I want to give you a big lecture and tell you why you're not stupid. So, I found this with adults. Adults look at their education as they had when they were younger, and they think that that is who they are, and that is all that they can succeed at. They can't go to university because they didn't do well at their education. Look, I'm telling you, it's a whole lot of baloney. Education in schools doesn't always bring out the best and all our strengths in life, and we can do a lot better sometimes in other things than maths. So if you are an adult and you're thinking of going to university, this is my advice to you. Go and see the career and guidance counsellors down there. There's career counsellors actually there, and talk about which courses to do and what's involved, and go for it. Go for your dreams. Don't let it hold you back. You are capable. As long as you can read and write well, you are capable. And everything they teach you is new. So you're not going to have to rely on all the information on maths. They don't throw you in there and start expecting you to know algorithms unless you want to be an engineer. Then you have to have that mathsy, or you want to be a doctor, you might have to have those higher levels of maths in grade 11 and 12. But if you want to be a teacher, for example, you have to have a basic. You do have to do maths these days, and you do have to do a slight thing. But even that, it's not hard. So I'm saying to you, don't let your dreams be foiled because you're too scared, because you're considering that what makes you up is what you achieved at school, and that's how you're going to be the most capable. Most mature ages do much better at studying than young people, because they want to be there and they're like really focused and they're mature, so they don't go partying and drinking all the time while they're trying to do a degree. So most mature age adults end up with the A's and the B's, okay? So if this is in your mind, please look at this video, and I hope this helped you, and I hope it drives you to get to where you want to get to, and that you go tomorrow, or tomorrow's Monday here, and it's a public holiday here, but you go and you get a career and guidance counsellor and go and have a look at some of the courses, university or TAFE or wherever you want to go. Don't let your school marks and your school results hold you back. Okay, cheers for now, and remember, as long as you can read and write, you can do anything. Take care. Bye.